some examples. In the back of that guide, there are some sample forms that we've created that you can use if you want to. You do not have to use these forms, but we did this to maybe make life easier for you. Okay, so we're going to create 10 if he wants help preparing for algebra next school year. And if any of you are math teachers, if the things that I put down here don't make any sense, it's because I'm not a math teacher, so I'm not really sure why I picked algebra, but anyhow. So in the initial contact form, when you first call that parent, you're going to fill that out. It's kind of hard to see, but basically, what you would just write on there would be things like, let me see if that's something.
Yeah, just, can you tell me a little bit about why you scheduled this session? What do you hope to accomplish? Tell me more about the students, interests, things like that. Do you have any questions for me about my background or things like that? So, this is obviously this is more to help you out if you don't, when you contact the parent the first time over the phone, just get directions or whatever. This will just help you guide that first contact with them. It's just for your benefit.
Just to kind of focus the conversation and help you. Again, this. If you do this, then automatically you've documented what you've done, and it's easy that way. Yeah.
Do you have these online?
We will. Yes. Yeah. Absolutely. So basically what I just kind of wrote is that he's, had a rough 8th grade math year and he wants to prepare over the summer for algebra in the fall. That would be something important for you to know to help you determine how you're going to approach the situation. Gosh, that was easier to read earlier. He's a good kid, he wants to learn, and maybe they have some materials at home that he can use or something, things that you would jot down, and you want to confirm the session time so that you make sure that you and the parent are on the same page. Validate that over the phone or through email so that you're confirming that. And then, maybe when you're there, you could use the student skill evaluation form that we have in there and mark that this is an initial assessment, and maybe whatever I've done is evaluated these skills, whether the student can identify patterns, whether he can do proportions and calculations and word problems, different skills, the number of instances you evaluated that, the number of times they got it correct, what the percentage was, and any notes or comments you got. That would be a really easy way for you to track the student's progress.
And this is not something you have to do ahead of time. You do it during the session,
right.
And this is not something that you have to add to your preparation at all.
Exactly. It'd be really easy for you to sit there and kind of take notes while you're working on it, and then you have your documentation.
The parent will appreciate that.
Right. You can use it as a formal report if you want to show it, like I'm going to give this to you, the parent, in writing, and this is kind of our evidence of where the student is on the first session and when they're starting, and then they can have those to compare as the sessions go on so you can directly show progress. For anybody that you develop an ongoing tutoring relationship with, obviously we're not going to want you to do these if you're just seeing the student, whenever the parent kind of thinks they might need some help with their homework or something. But anybody that you are tutoring at least once a week, we would like for you to develop some sort of, or we feel it would be best practice for you to develop some sort of plan in writing so that you can focus your instruction. And this may be something that you already do and you have your own way of doing that, and that's fine. If not, here's a form that you could use if you choose. And basically just has information about the student's background, what their areas of needs is, what their strength is, and then goals for the tutoring. And those can be things that should be talked about with the parent. They should be goals that you set together with the parent. So, for example, what did I say for the student?
Introduce beginning algebra concepts that will be seen at the start of next year.
No, that's not what I said. I think for the student, we said we wanted to remediate his 8th grade math skills, and then goal number 2 would be to introduce, early algebra skills for the fall.
Again, this is something you can do with a parent there as well.
Right.
If you want to get, it doesn't have to go any preparation. You may want to just go to the I'm going to put some links on the website just to show you where to get these types of, goals and things.
Right. But basically, there's no formal language. It doesn't have to be all in teacher jargon. It should just be very clear and upfront so that the parent and you and the student are all on the same page. And then for each of those goals, identify kind of break it down into skill levels. Okay, well, if we want him to do this, what types of things is he going to have to master first? And break that down and actually have it in writing so that you can focus your lessons when you're with that student on those things. And then there's a spot for, if you want to mark how that corresponds to the specific North Carolina content standards, we can show you where to look for that online so that you can make sure that you're really aligning what you're doing with that student with what they're going to be expected to do in school. So basically,
who's teacher special ed in here? All right, so this is a lot like an IEP, an ITP. I don't know if that's.
that's our background and that's how I think. But it just makes sense to me to go about planning things that way. And then, you know, propose strategies to achieve those goals. You know, maybe the student really likes basketball, so I'm going to figure out a way for him to learn statistics by using, you know, basketball stats or, you know, whatever special strategies that you're going to implement so that you can remember that those were things that you were thinking of, and you can let the parent know these are the things that I'd like to do with that student so that they have that in front of them, and that's going to motivate them to go on the site and continue booking you for sessions, because they're going to know, okay, this is her plan and these are the ways that she's going to work with my child. So that's it. If you have questions about that, yeah.
I was just going to make sure I heard something you said correctly. Did you say there's going to be something available so that you know what they're expected to know at a certain grade level?
That's all online. The
Okay.
North Carolina Department of Instruction has all of that posted,
Okay,
and we'll have
yes.
links to that on our site. So that, yeah, you can look at exactly what the standards are for ninth grade English or, you know, anything like that. And it makes it easy for you to kind of align what you're doing with what they'll be doing in school.
And if you have, you know, this is would be only for parents that you have a long-standing relationship with.
Right.
So if you want to do that with them in the session, that's fine. And if you want to contact me or Susan, we'll help you come up with that stuff. It's really simple.
Okay.
It's not too bad at all. You good?
Yeah.
Okay.
Unless there's questions about those sorts of things. But again, that guide is there just to try to make things easier for you to help you focus what you're doing.
And you know, there's a lot of people in here with very impressive teaching backgrounds, and there's also others who have very impressive academic backgrounds in both. You know, share with each other what worked for you in sessions, and if that ITP thing doesn't work for you, you know, let the
If you
tutors
have
know.
a better way of doing it,
Yeah.
let us know. We'll post it on the site. I mean, it's not, this is our way and this is the way you have to do it. It's, here are some guidelines and let's see what works. So.
Segues to your the handbook. I'm not going to go through everything here. I'm sorry.
I just had a quick question about the site. Do you have some type of like bulletin board that we could talk about issues and stuff that other, you know, that we're all facing maybe on?
Right, we don't have a form on the site itself, but I actually am creating a blog
Okay.
on Blogspot, I think it is.
Yeah.
I'm just still new to this stuff. So I actually just created a parent blog. I'm also going to create a tutor blog,
Okay.
so you can actually share. Also, you'll have the ability you'll have tutor resource articles that you can go to. And just to let you know where all this stuff is, if you go to resources and then hit tutor resources, this is not updated, but you'll see that you'll have links to the tutor handbook, best practices guide, user's manual, and also, again, this is just preliminary right now. If you go to resources and articles, you'll be able to see under tutor resources right here, a lot of the different things, documents, and if you want to post an article for tutors only, the tutor resources article category is only available to you guys, so no one else will be able to see that.
And that's where we'll eventually post the links to the standard course of study and those sorts of things.